Greetings from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to the GSL Code S.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I hope that we're your Valentine's Day.
I'll be your Valentine, Artosis.
Yes.
Cheers to all you Forever Alone nerds, too. Some of you guys that don't have a Valentine.
Yeah.
Today.
Hopefully it's not forever. But
hopefully.
You know what? As long as you have StarCraft in your life, I mean.
You got something going on.
Sometimes.
I guess you don't really need love and affection.
No, certainly not.
No,
I did with just StarCraft for years and years and years without love and affection, and look how I turned out.
You turned out just fine.
I think so.
But yeah, happy Valentine's Day, guys. We're here in Group D now of GSL Code S. It's good to have Code S back. Protosses are still doing very good. Very well. Very well.
They're doing more gooder than Zergs, that's for sure.
We are not seeing a lot of success so far with the Terrans and the Zergs here. This whole season started off very Protoss dominant. So far, the round of 16, we're seeing the continuance of that dominance from Protoss. Doesn't mean we're going to have a PvP final. Anything could happen, but as of now, that's the trajectory we're going on, is a very heavy Protoss tournament.
That's right. You can see down at the bottom, 1 Zerg, 5 Protoss so far. And as of tonight, there can be 2 Zergs, a Zerg and a Protoss, or 2 Protoss. Those are our options. What will it be? It's going to be a Protoss and a Zerg.
I think it's going to be a Protoss and a Zerg. I don't think it's going to be 2 Protosses.
Well, Soulkey's playing tonight.
Yeah,
and
Soulkey is just too good.
He's maybe the best player in the whole world. So
he's pretty perfect.
Yeah, he's pretty much perfect.
And considering, we've talked about this a little bit yesterday with Sue, you know, you get a player who has pretty much one matchup he's going to have to be very, very good at. In this case, for Soulkey, it's going to be ZVP. I think he can basically beat everybody.
Oh, yeah,
that we
he can
have
beat
here.
Everyone.
I mean, it's possible for him to lose to a few of our players, but, you know, if I was a gambling man, I'd say, well,
he pretty much wins all the time. You give him at least a best of 3, and he's basically just going to win. Recently, he did lose in a best of 5, I believe, to Rogue, a.k.a. Savage, in a qualifier for IM. But yeah, that's the last time I. Yeah, that was very recent. But that's like a ZVZ. It can get a little bit wonky in there. So I mean, maybe there's a way that the Zerg player can beat him. But I mean, Pet beating him. I don't think so. Yeah,
I would be. I think an upset is even an understatement.
Yeah.
For that being the results there. So again, going back to this Protoss dominance, we also only had 3 Terrans total here.
Yeah.
When we started out in this Code S.
Only 1 has played so far, and he's gone.
So
Supernova.
We have 2
Sorry, buddy.
possible Terrans that can move on.
Yeah. That's Byung and Maru.
Maru. Yeah. I got high hopes for Maru.
Yeah, and you know what? Byung is actually playing very, very well recently.
Yeah, he's very good.
A really top-end Terran, so he definitely has potential.
But still, Artosis and I do have our fingers crossed for 14 Protosses to be in the round of 16. That would just be great.
I think that's pretty good. You know, it's an even number. It's close to 16, but not 16 all the way, so you can't call the game imbalanced.
No, you can't. Definitely got an underdog to root for there.
Yeah. That would be...
You can give up on round of 8, though, if it just turns out to be 8 Protosses. But hey, let's hold out. Let's hold out here.
Well, what if we got the other, like the 2 Zergs that play each other?
Wouldn't people be killing themselves then?
Yeah. Well, that means they could get further, right? There'd always be another Zerg moving
That's true.
on.
Whoa, you are... I'm looking on the bright side of things. Good spin here, Artosis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Valentine's Day. I'm in a good mood.
What are you doing for Valentine's Day?
Watching some GSL games.
And then what are you doing after that?
Going home.
Yeah. Got anything special planned?
No, probably watch a movie or fall asleep. It matters how long these games go today. You know, there's 2 Zergs and 2 Protosses, so Swarm host could get involved, and my Valentine's night may end very
That's where you have to move it. Actually,
very anticlimactically.
I was talking to my friend, and he was saying he's actually going to have Valentine's Day tomorrow. Because that way you can go to all the nice restaurants. They're completely empty. Get a good seat.
You know what? I bet his... hold on. We're going to look at this interview first.
자, 첫 번째 만나볼 선수 2013년을 WCS 글로벌 랭킹 1위로 마감을 한 선수인데요. 더 이상 설명이 필요 없는 선수 SK텔레콤 T1의 김민철 선수 만나보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 지금 거의 2년 만에 저희 스튜디오에 오셨는데요. 오시니까 어떠세요?
일단 제가 GSL
So it's been 2 months since you last came.
경기가 좀 잘 됐었거든요. 근데 오랜만에 왔는데도 어색하지 않고 굉장히 편하네요. 오늘도 이미 뭔가
I've always done well in GSL.
네.
Even though it's been a long time, I'm feeling really comfortable being here.
16강에는 확정된 첫 저그가 됐거든요. 전 세계가 인정하는 저그 원탑으로서 그 경기는 어떻게 보셨나요?
사실 경기를 안 봤고요. 네. 그냥
네.
올라갈 것 같아서 사실 뭐 안 지켜봤고, 근데 제가 만약에 민수보다 먼저 경기를 했다면 제가 먼저 올라간 첫 저그가 되지 않았을까 싶어요.
네, 볼 필요 없었다. 굉장히 적극적이신데요. 지난해 사실 김민철 선수의 해라고 해도 과언이 아닐 정도로.
So it was the first circuit round of 16. What do you think of that? For those matches?
정말 많이 받으셨는데.
Soulkey said, I didn't actually watch the matches. I was pretty confident he'd make it though.
사실 제가 세지 않았어요.
그 정도로 많나요?
좀 꽤 받았던 것 같아요. 그래서 2014년에도
I don't know how many rewards I've received so far.
열심히 하고 있어요.
그렇습니다. 그럼 오늘 32강전.
But hopefully in 2014 I'll be able to get some more.
네, 이렇게 김민철 선수 만나봤는데요. 다음 상대
I don't know where she gets that sparkly sign with her name on it, but I want one.
I want one. Goody says thank you for that interview, Soulkey. Artosis' casting is very biased. Wow, I was surprised she said that.
Well, that's kind of messed up.
That's kind of messed up, but hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah. 승리 이후에 무조건 승리해서 우승하겠다 이렇게 말씀을 하셨어요. 자신 있으신가요?
네, 자신은 언제나.
You mentioned in the Cody interview that you were
언제나 있다. 그런데 첫
you go to the finals and win.
김민철 선수입니다. 중요한 경기 때마다 사실 잘 만나고 있거든요. 의식되진 않으신가요?
네, 매일.
Your first opponent, Soulkey.
제가 나가는 데마다
What do you think about that?
제 발목을 붙잡으려고 하시고 있는 것 같은데 이번에 확실히 부러뜨리겠습니다.
오, 부러뜨리겠다. 그렇다면
every time he's been my
제대로
obstacle.
한 격인데요. 오늘 복수전을 할 수
This time I'll be
있을지
able to take him out.
살펴보겠습니다. 오늘 지켜보겠습니다.
감사합니다.
네, 이렇게 CJ 엔투스
Short and
김정우
sweet
선수
interview there.
만나봤고요. 세 번째 선수는 수많은 도전 끝에 생애 첫
What's this?
코디
Tasos asked her to be his Valentine, and she said no, and he cried.
안녕하세요.
Whoa, why would she say that on
I can't believe
TV?
Goody said that on TV. Jeez.
남자입니다. 네, 지금 박남규 선수가
think his whole
나오자마자
class is here cheering for him.
응원이 나오고 있는데 저 존재가 누군가요?
You're getting a lot of cheers today. Who are these people?
네.
막
my
말하고
school friends.
말 안 하고 온 친구도 있는데 아무튼 와줘서 다들 고맙습니다.
이렇게 발렌타인데이 때
I'm really grateful they came down here to cheer for me.
정말 행복하실 것 같아요. 이 선수, 이 분들 오늘 한턱 쏴야 될 것 같은데요.
예, 한도 쏠게요 제가.
네, 한턱
Looks like you're gonna have to treat these guys.
승리를 해서 쏘는 게
Says
더
yes, I guess I will.
텐데요. 오늘 이 만만치 않은 상대를 꺾고 16강에 올라갈 자신 있는지 각오 한 말씀 들어볼게요.
예, 다들
You confident you're gonna make it to the round of 16?
다들 높은 곳까지 올라가신 선수들이고 저보다 커리어가 좋지만 제가
These are all very experienced players with big careers behind them.
연습 잘 될 때 연습 때처럼만 잘 되면 올라갈 것 같아요.
네, 오늘 박남규 선수 잘 할 수 있을지.
If I do as well as I did during practice, I think I should be able to.
네, 박남규
make
선수의
it.
상대 또 만나보겠습니다.
And now Goody is saying Artosis has web feet. Wow.
Helps me swim better. She's jealous. Throw her in a pool, she sinks.
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 박현우 선수 벌써 7번째 코드 S 진출입니다. 그만큼 베테랑이라고 할 수가 있는데요. 자, 오랜만에 온 만큼
This is your 7th time in the GSL.
좀 들려주시죠.
Code S, how do you feel?
오랜만에 온 기분이라서 되게 열심히
This
준비했고.
music. I can't. I just have to say something.
I prepared a lot. It's been a long time since I came here.
지난 시즌에서는 사실 볼 수가 없었거든요. 바로 조금 전에 인터뷰했던 박남규 선수 때문이었는데 오늘 복수전이 될 수 있을까요?
Last season we weren't able to see you
남규뿐만이 아니라 제가 지금 김민철
because you were knocked off by Pat.
김정은 선수한테도 지고 있거든요.
네.
그래서 아마 오늘 컨셉은 좀 복수가 아닐까. 예.
네, 복수를 컨셉으로 나오셨다. 확실히 이 박현우 선수의
My concept today is going to be revenge.
참 많습니다. 이 밴드를 위해서라도 올 시즌 목표를 들어보고 싶어요.
일단
What's your goal this
목표는
season?
무조건 우승이고요. 이제 그만큼 열심히 준비해서 좋은 경기 보여드리겠습니다.
The goal is, of course, first place.
예고전을
I'll do my best
보여줄 수 있을지 기대해보겠습니다.
to meet those expectations.
네, 이렇게 박현우 선수까지 오늘 D조에 나서는 선수 4분을 모두 살펴봤는데요. 저는 16강의 진출자 인터뷰로 돌아오겠습니다.
That does it.
That does it.
Special thanks to John for helping us translate that.
That's right. Special thanks to Guri for that shout out at the end that, in fact, Artosis is handsomer than tasteless, and she wishes that I had asked
Despite
her.
Despite Artosis having webbed feet. Wow.
Despite having webbed feet.
Well, one foot, the other one's clubbed. People never see you from the people never see you from the bottom down, man. They don't know.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Could be anything down there.
Could be.
Well, unless you've seen
it. Could be like octopus tentacles down there. You're just complete.
I cover them with pants when people can see them. Here, though, never pants on, too. So
no.
So, that's that.
Yeah.
And finally, we do have some interviews being shown, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely happy about that.
Yeah. So here today, it's going to be a lot more PVZs, PvPs. If you're somebody who's trying to learn Terran here, this is not
the season for you.
Yes, for you, unfortunately. But you know what? It is a nice change, considering that Terrans have been so dominant.
Yeah, Terrans have been able to learn so much over the years from GOM.
Yeah.
And now your time is over.
Now your time is done.
You wait a couple seasons till we have some nerfs and Terrans figure out how to play again.
It's Protoss' turn this time around.
Yeah. Maybe Zerg. There's a lot of Zergs in the tournament.
There are a lot of Zergs in the tournament. Don't count the Zergs out.
Yeah.
And not that many more Protosses than there were Zergs. I mean,
not that many.
Yeah. But, yeah.
So, what are you doing for Valentine's today?
I'm on a date.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sick.
Get a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
Some cheese.
The cheese platter is coming.
Nice.
Cheese
I love
cheese platters,
man.
Oh, yeah.
They're so good.
Cheese platter is...
What's your favorite type of cheese for the cheese platter?
You know, I like Gouda cheese.
Yeah.
Swiss cheese is fine, of course. Blue cheese.
Swiss is like pretty weak for a cheese platter. It's like kind of a...
Yeah, but I dig Swiss cheese.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot.
Like, I like Kraft Kraft cheese. Velveeta cheese with the wine. I like I like all the cheeses, like blue cheese.
Blue cheese is really good.
Goat cheese.
Yeah.
Blue cheese and goat cheese are 2 different things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Blue cheese is the one that has the blue stuff in it. It's like
well, goat cheese kind of has that blue stuff.
Well, some goat cheeses do.
Okay.
It matters.
Got to be ready for tonight. So, that's my plan.
All right, sick.
Where should I meet you? Meet me at the Faux Italian place in Gangnam. All right,
sick.
I'll be there with a candle and a bottle of wine for you.
And the cheese platter. This is why I was asking.
Cheese platter, yeah.
What did you think I was asking for?
You think I was actually curious, Tasteless?
I just want to know where you were taking me.
Well,
it's weird that you didn't tell me about it until I asked you.
It was supposed to be a surprise. All right. 4 very tough players here. 2 of which you're probably very experienced seeing here. Soulkey and Squirtle. Squirtle, very old school. He hasn't been doing as well as I think he would say once was, but he's still very, very good. And we do see players kind of dip down for a little bit after they peak in their career and then come back up. So we all have high hopes for him there. Soulkey has just been overall so dominant, so scary. And here he is now.
And, well, he's the most consistent Zerg, basically. Him and Jaedong are just unbelievably consistent, always getting to the top of tournaments. Soulkey, I would definitely say, the best Zerg in the world. He was #1 ranked last year. He won more than everyone. He was the best. Best player in the world last year, I would say, for sure.
So perfect is the way to describe his style. Zerg is this reactionary race. You get reads via peeking in with overlords, doing checks to get tech, and see what they're doing. And then you respond perfectly, and you scout perfectly. And his responses are always just so precise.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows everything about it. Mechanically, he's awesome, superior to almost every Zerg.
I mean, Zerg is really just this tightrope walk. Where on one side of that tightrope is you got too greedy, and made too many drones, expanded a little bit too much, and you get punished for it. And the other side of that rope you're trying to balance on is where you were just too aggressive, where you weren't able to eke out the damage.
Well, Soulkey makes that tightrope look like a balance beam.
He makes that tightrope look like the San Francisco Bridge, Artosis.
Okay, you got me. Now here's Sora. And Sora is a Protoss that before the rise of Protoss, and I'm sure a lot of Zergs and Terrans are like, well, your rise of Protoss has been going on for 3 years now. No.
They do sound like
That's what they sound like. Their actual voices. When I read when I read what they type, that's the voice that I hear. But no, before the rise of Protoss is where they like start just killing and like everyone qualified this season. Sora came up before that. Like he was the first bubble that came out of your soda pop.
Wow.
He rose up. He kind of started to revolutionize PvT and PvZ specifically when those matchups were still kind of hard for Protoss, or harder than what they seem like they are right now. So he's kind of like not being overshadowed, but like there's a lot of Protosses doing well, so it's harder to keep track of what Sora's doing.
There's not as much of a hype train behind this guy.
Yeah.
It's simply because at this point in time, a lot of people would probably want to see more Protosses lose.
Bam.
It's time now for game number 1 here in Group D. Last year's legend, Soulkey here up against Sora for game number 1 in our first best of 3 here at the GSL Code S.
Soulkey versus Sora.
Right,
so, Artosis.
Yes.
I don't know if they do this in... I guess they probably do this in all, at least Western schools. On Valentine's Day, did your class have like these...
empty tissue boxes?
The empty tissue boxes, or shoe boxes or something?
Yeah.
And then you slip the Valentines in there?
What is Code A?
What is Code A?
Soulkey. Code A is where he sends people.
Yeah, Code A is basically where he banishes them.
Yeah. As far as he knows, it's a grave in the earth. He just kicks nerds into. Starts burying them all. I'm alive, Soulkey! There's like dirt, and the guys go,
please. Now, so did you had the whole tissue box? Cards in there.
I remember because like the night before, you know, someone would run down and get me like the box of like Scooby-Doo Valentines or some crap, and then I have a list of everyone in my class, and just like for my friends I would choose the best Valentines, but for everyone else I just wrote them down.
I always chose. I was like, if there was like a girl I had a good crush on, I'm like, okay, like this I think is the best one. It's like my Aladdin Valentine's Day cards, and I'm like, well, here's Aladdin and Jasmine together, and I'm like, this is gonna really send home. And then of course I really looked in too much to the Valentines that I got in 3rd grade.
It's like you give your nemesis the Jafar one. Like.
I did, I did. Or occasionally I just give him the one that had because you get like what there's usually like 6 different Valentines in that.
You gave him like the 9th.
No, I also gave him the Jasmine Jafar one. Like, okay. I'm like,
let's see.
Yeah.
Looking here, Tasteless. Looks like we're having double hatch before pool.
Yep.
And he did send down a scout here to see that. The drones are just kind of running around making sure that there's no sort of shenanigans going on.
Shenanigans, I like that.
Yeah. But looks like everything's fine. Sora's just going to be behind a little bit with these opening builds, but not too bad because he's like skipping a cannon and things like that.
Well, when you're fast expanding with Protoss like this, you want to try to get... It's funny, imagine like this in a way, guys. If you didn't have to make cannons, you wouldn't. You know what I mean? If you could just get the gateway, the core, and the tech out, if they just couldn't attack you for some reason, you wouldn't do it. But you have to get at least one out. But if you can get that cannon as delayed as much as humanly possible, and that's where you get a good Protoss player in the early game, is he can really just get... He might... say, for instance, in this case, I'll get the core out before I even get a cannon because in this circumstance, I wall it off in such a way. And that's exactly how you have to play. When you get lower level players, they'll just end up with a cannon. Early on, that they might not have needed.
It's very true. And this time, he's like not even going to make a cannon. Maybe when he moves out. He's already got a Zealot out, so it's like, well, actually, he starts a cannon just as I say that. But does he actually need that cannon? No, not against these 2 Zerglings.
Not exactly. I mean, I guess if he wants to be aggressive, you will eventually, I guess, have to have one there no matter what. But
well, the thing is,
that's why I say as late as possible is actually better. I mean, if you get your gases up, get your tech up before the cannon, if that was somehow possible, if you somehow saw the Zerg just not getting a pool, you would want to do that.
Exactly. Okay, so he is going to send this out, and this is why he's made that cannon, just to make sure that he can push out and actually do some pressure, because if he doesn't make the cannon, then his opponent can sit around with like 2 lings. Or, I'm sorry, if he doesn't make the cannon moves out, a bunch of lings can be made, which means he would have to stay at home, which means that his opponent can just sit here on 2 lings like he is now. But with that cannon, he can move out, put on a little bit of pressure, hopefully force some more lings. We'll see how many he actually gets to force out. Looks like Soulkey is not biting. He's just bringing queens over.
And so Soulkey is just getting that nice creep spread started. Looks like there's going to be a ling interception here with the Zealot and the Mothership Core.
And starting on the rocks.
Wants to tear that down, get a blockade over there. You can really cut off circulation quite well on this map.
Indeed, you can. Now, the Overlord actually scouting that there is, in fact, an Oracle on the way, which obviously does mean 3rd base. And as we see here, that 3rd base going up with a Zergling already seeing it. But Soulkey doesn't have any gases yet. Like, he just started them, and this is this kind of new build. We saw this a lot last week, where, you know, you're getting 4 gases at once, and they're pretty darn light, so it's, like, really, really mineral heavy. In fact, it was Sue that we got to see do this some. And that means his economy is just going to be out of control.
Yeah, and with the positioning here of the Nexus, the 3rd Nexus here, and the pylons, he can tuck a cannon away in there and pretty much hold off whatever the Zerg would try to throw at him early on.
Yeah.
And this is one of these builds that's so strong now and is allowing Protoss, excuse me, I got a hiccup there, is really allowing Protoss to compete on such a high level with Zergs, is that they're able to basically almost behave like a Zerg and get out there and just force expansions without much the Zerg can do to really contest it.
Yeah. Now, with the build that Sora is doing here, you know, he's teching so much, he's upgrading so much off of so little and getting a 3rd base that Soulkey realizes that he needs to be really, really greedy in turn. And he's doing that. He already has over 70 drones, and he's taken a 4th base. His creep spread is looking phenomenal. He's basically not letting Sora get ahead in any way.
Yeah, looking very good. God, the creep spread again is just absolutely phenomenal. So beautiful here. And so for the time being, neither player can really engage the other one. So what we're seeing here is them just completing all of their tech tree.
That's right. A lot of gates being added right now for Sora. He knows he needs to start getting units out. Whether he's planning on attacking or not, and I'm quite sure he's going to at least move across the map, he needs these gates up because Soulkey could turn on the aggression at any moment, especially with Zergling speed finishing, the Roach Warren done, and Roach upgrades starting.
And we see a little bit of pressure here. He wants to edge out and just try to keep Soulkey on his toes. We see him edging out here now. Soulkey is basically the master at holding stuff like this. Usually
he's very good at holding out.
Now, it doesn't mean that Sora won't break him, but this is a really tough move here for Sora to try to pull off against a player of Soulkey's caliber. But this unit combo here is pretty good, actually.
Well, I would say with 7 sentries out here, there's a good chance he can get this hatchery. He's going to have to use a lot of force fields,
isolation there, too. Immediately, though, losing that Oracle.
That's actually a little bit rough, but looks like he is going to continue mass force field here. Gets a couple queens, starting to get some roaches as well, and a bunch of the units actually running around the other side. So it looks like Sora's going to have to back up for now.
Yep, he's regrouping now with some more of these Stalkers here. A lot of lings coming up here now. The Zealots need to get up here into the front of the Time Warp. Is being thrown down here now as well, and catching some roaches as they attempt to retreat, blinking forward.
Quite nice force fields. That Void Ray is still left alive, and he's killed all the queens. So that Void Ray is going to be worth a lot here in this battle. And behind this, we actually have 9 mutas being made.
I think he might get the hatchery.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Well, you know what? There's mutas out now, so this is kind of interesting because he has Blink Stalkers and he has 3 bases and a Stargate, but he doesn't really have anything at home to stop this mutal
we don't have a preview PC here, but you don't believe he has cannons adequate to defend here in the mains and these other locations. That cannon is just going to be helpful against lings, and it now goes down. So Stalker's being warped in, and this may force Sora to continue to press forward here, try to force those mutas to turn around, and it could put us into somewhat of a base trade scenario here. Probes now evacuating as the 3rd is completely exposed.
Well, we have a lot of spines going up right now for Soulkey, realizing that this attack is still very, very scary indeed. He doesn't have quite a big enough army to do this. A bunch of drones coming down as well. That's when you really know you're in trouble, but these spines are starting to finish up.
All right, and now the Roach is coming forward here, forcing those Stalkers to blink back as the drones come up here and hit as well. The third next is taking hits, so Soulkey focusing on the third instead of trying to get probes elsewhere here.
And look at all those spines. I think he's fine, too.
Yeah,
so
I think
he
he's
just
fine.
stays back a little bit. I mean, this
and by getting this Nexus, he can also get these gateways as well, which is really going to reduce the production here.
Yeah, it's pretty sick right now for Soulkey. You know, really kind of, as you were saying, a tightrope. He loses his fourth, but he knows that making the mutas is going to allow him to punish his opponent so heavily. And as we see, the economy of Sora is now down to 2 bases.
You know, Soulkey was really smart pulling the drones back there during that fight because it was very apparent that Sora was actually warping in just non-stop to try to get the push to succeed there, and therefore he wasn't investing into cannons.
Yeah. He wanted those mutas to come and help out. And Soulkey just said, nope, I am not sending these home. I can't win this game if I don't do some damage right now. Because when you kill the 4th base, if the Zerg doesn't do something to the Protoss at that same moment, Protoss is just going to get way too far ahead.
Driving out some more of these Roaches here. I mean, really, yes, Soulkey's losing a lot of mutas here. That did kind of equalize the game a little bit. Now, he didn't get the gateways over there at the 3rd, which would have been pretty helpful, but then again, you can't blame the guy because he also did manage to kill off a lot of probes in the main here. I do believe, though, as I'm like halfway through that sentence, I think he's just going to push up here with these Roaches and Lings and possibly wipe that out anyways. Ground force here pretty strong.
Yeah, it looks like he wants to just start hitting on Sora a little bit, and this is a hard situation for Sora because he has to figure out what types of units are being made, and as we know, he lost pretty much, he lost every single sentry, in fact, so his scouting is almost 0. There could be mutas being made, there could be infestors, there could be a hive, it could be Roach Hydra. There's a lot of different options that it could be here.
And with the spine crawlers that he made to defend, he's not going to be able to hold that 4th very easily. Very, very easily. He's going to be able to defend everywhere.
Yeah, if he gets that creep spread up there especially, it's going to become easier and easier, but right now with Sora, he's trying to defend against mutalist harassment, but it's like just this cheap block of mutas. He doesn't even have the full 9 anymore. And with the tech switch, in fact, there's only 4 mutas, and he's still kind of forced to sit at home.
Oh!
But here we go. He's killing those off. He's going to have to move out very soon, but it's pure Blink Stalker force against what is soon to be a rather large set of Swarm hosts.
Yeah, usually when Protoss get hit so hard, like in this game, they tend to get stuck making Stalkers. It's like hard to get out of. To go back to a normal tech path because Zerg has so much freedom as they try to reorganize that.
You need mobility. You need a flexible unit.
I don't really know if there's going to be much recovery here from Sora. I mean, Zerg can keep counterattacking. Granted, these Stalkers are fast. They can get back there pretty easily. I don't know how they're ever going to manage to punish the Zerg. By the way, he should just get that Cybernetic Explorer.
Yeah, that's actually a very nice snipe right there.
Where's your Stalkers now? Well, they're over here, actually.
They're trying to blink over, but not working out. And, well, you know, he forces him to warp in some more sentries, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but his tech is so limited, he needs splash damage ASAP, and really in the form of Colossus is what he needs. Ooh, that's really nice. That's a very nice catch.
Yeah, blunking on that.
Well,
the 4th, rather, is up and running, but you got to remember that the Swarm hosts here, most importantly, are in such large numbers. It's going to be very difficult for Sora to really do anything without Colossi, and that is actually 2 robotics bays.
Oh yeah, that's for sure a huge mistake.
That's for sure totally an intentional strategy we've never seen before. Wow, what are we going to learn here today, Sora? So he's getting 2 robotics support bays. Which is a mistake. I think this is kind of a
this is what
symbolizes
happens
what's happening psychologically here for Sora. As he's actually making a few mistakes now.
When you take a lot of damage or have it like a really frantic fighting early on, this happens so often to professionals where you're kind of off and you're like, did I make that yet? I'll make it now, and you already made it. So it's like, it's a bunch of wasted gas minerals, but not like a game-changing thing here.
And Warp Prism is now going to come around here. This counterattack here on the 3rd is going to be successful. I don't know if Sora's going to actually get... Nope, he's totally going to get that.
Very nicely done.
Very nicely done, excuse me.
Well, these are the type of moves that he needs to do to come back, and he's starting to fight back kind of well, but losing the third Nexus again, even though he takes out the fourth, like 3 base against 2 base,
it's a huge difference.
It is, and the thing is, we always say, like, well, Zerg can be up 1 base, but that's like 3 base against 4 base is kind of okay.
Oh,
or
wow.
4 base against 5 base is kind of okay, but when it's 2 against 3, it's not. 2 against 3, you run out real quick as Protoss.
On the way out the door, just happens to conveniently clean up this other Nexus as he was chased out there.
Pretty efficient there.
Yeah, for sure.
Even setting up some more roaches, just keeping these stalkers so busy in the meantime.
And now the Locusts can come up here. The Locusts are in a great position here. We don't have any Colossi out just yet, so...
Well, this is...
And now he's going to go for Broodlords here. And that should be the nail in the coffin.
He knows that they're 100% Sora has to be going for Colossus right now, and his tech is just so far behind that Broodlords are going to be the nail in the coffin without any doubt. That's if he doesn't leave before then, but there's no way that he can counter these Swarm Hosts and Broodlords at the same time from the economic position he's been put in.
And so we have the Nexus now being hit over here again. Really, it would take a miracle at this point in time for Sora to recover. He does have the right idea in mind with the Warp Prism harass, getting the Colossus, everything else, but this game was really decided a long time ago.
Yeah, it kind of was. That Mutalisk counterattack plus the hold at home was just so strong for Soulkey, but Sora is still trying to fight back here. He still has a reasonable amount of supply that you have to give to him, but you look at this, the upgrades all finishing right now for Soulkey. His tech tree is just about finished as well. He's got such a wide variety of units. How do you counter all this? Well, I mean, Sora's trying with Blink Stalkers, but he's going to find that lacking pretty quickly.
You know, the Zerg has set himself up in this brilliant position, which is exactly how you want to play Zerg right now in Heart of the Swarm. And in a situation like this especially, oh, that sucks, by the way. Oh, well, it still sucks, but it just sucks for the other player now because he didn't end up killing off that Forge. No, you know, he's got all these free units coming out, the Swarm Hosts, the Broodlings, everything. These are all free units, which are just going to slowly chisel away at the Protoss' army, and that base is almost maxed out.
Oh, man, I'm watching some long-distance mining going on right now.
It's pretty painful.
It's pretty painful. Sora, like, basically what he has to do is, as he gets 3 to 5 Colossus, just start pushing out and get something done. And I don't even know if there's any way to get something done here. And with the Roach counterattack, that's going to like force him to go back. He's barely making any headway anywhere.
Really all comes down to this third Nexus here. That's just now finished. The probes transferring in droves right now over there. He has to keep that up and running.
Well, the Locusts are going to have something to say about that, being sent up the center once again. He should probably skip that center path that keeps being used, and especially because there's so much creep on it, and going from a different angle. You know, you have to dodge the creep, because then Soulkey knows you're coming, and the Locusts get there so much quicker. So he just needs to go down some different path, some different angle, see if he can pick off some bases. But as we can see, with 10 Broodlords morphing, the odds of him winning this game are pretty much nilch.
Yeah. Nilch?
Nilch. It's like zilch and nil together.
Oh my god.
It's 0-0. It's that thing that always hits when you don't bet on it in roulette.
Oh god, I know. What is up with that?
I swear.
There's nothing that's worse than playing roulette and it lands on 0 or 0-0. You know, not all roulette tables have the 0 and the 0-0. Some only have the 0.
I would kill the ones with just 0 on it.
I know. I would bankrupt the casino.
Yeah, yeah.
Usually our toast is when we play roulette at the casino, man. We will talk like I'm just saying it's going to be at least, you know, one of the even numbers or toast. And he's like, you know what? I think you're right.
Yeah.
And about 10 minutes after we go to the roulette table, we have to leave the casino because we have no more money. That's basically what happens.
Basically.
All right, so
well, here's where he starts feeling really, really bad. As if it wasn't bad enough already. More free units incoming. These Broodlords going to be just about unstoppable. That's a lot of Colossus, so he's still going to try to push forward here. Almost picks off a Broodlord there, which then gets promptly healed.
These Locusts are like, this is our town, scrub, and then the Swarm Hosts are like, or the Broodlords are like, yeah, beat it. Barely got that one out.
You are actually really funny. Wow, that was actually a really, really good joke.
It was.
Wow.
I don't know why it took me it was like not easy for me to get out.
No, that's a hard one. I get you.
Yeah. You know, you got the broodlings, and then you got the locusts, and then you got
totally.
the, you know.
That was.
Hey, you know, I'm
very
glad
impressed.
it went as well as it did back there. Wow.
Yeah. You should be proud of yourself.
Glad the cast can
You
still
and
go
Soulkey
on.
won this one.
Yep. GG. Tastes and Soulkey win that one.
Tastes and Soulkey advance
to the round of 16.
Yeah. All right, so Soulkey taking that first game, looking very, very strong. You know, I was almost questioning it for a moment when he started the 9 mutas because it was in the middle of a very strong attack that really looked like it was going to take down his 4th. And it did take down his 4th, but that was okay because he was smart enough to pull his drones out. He was smart enough to make a ton of spine crawlers. He made like 5 or 6 immediately.
Yeah.
And just send his mutas across, knowing that, hey, if you're going to break this hatch, it means you don't have enough units at home to stop these mutas. And it's just like...
It's a good note to just take from that series and that situation in general is most Protosses, if they are doing these really intense timings right off of third base, they're not going to have cannons to defend from mutas.
Yeah.
Don't panic if you lose that hatch.
That's true. Like, there's no way that they'll have them. And the thing is, what they're counting on is if you go mutas, they can kill you with the push. It becomes a small base trade scenario where the Protoss has a much stronger army, and you didn't quite have enough time to bank up enough mutas to do a lot of damage. But Soulkey's hold was just good enough that his mutas did what they needed to do and put him in an unstoppable lead.
Our next map is going to be Ultrazeme Stronghold.
Oh, sick. This map is so big. Let's see how Sora plays it here. I want to see just how greedy he can be. And will Soulkey choose a strategy like we saw from Sue, like Muta Corruptor? Or will he try for a more ground-based strategy?
Whatever he does try here, it's probably going to be what's best to do.
Probably.
You know? When you get somebody like Soulkey, when he's playing Zerg, it's usually like kind of the highest standard of strats on a map.
He's like the Zerg you actually want to be. It's just like in StarCraft 1, like every Terran just tried to play like Flash all the time because he was like perfect.
Yeah.
Just like, well, you play perfectly. Like if I can, closer I get to you, the better I am.
Exactly.
Well, this is going to be a pretty exciting one, man. This one could go either way for sure, I would say.
Yeah. I would like to see this actually go to game number 3, but that is a tall order still against Soulkey. It's funny because Sora is...
I love Sora. I absolutely...
Not just sorta good, but really good.
His Cupid's arrow struck me months ago because Sora is like... As soon as I started watching his PVZs, I was sold. Everyone's talking about his PVTs. No, man. His PVZs, the way that he played macro PVZ games was just awesome. I hope we see it here.
Let's see if Sora can turn this around, or if the best Zerg in the world, Soulkey, moves on to the winner's round. Round number 3 here in Group D here for today's GSL.